Hannah, welcome to the 2021 AIG Women's Open. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to be back here in Scotland and here at Carnoustie this week.
Yeah, it's really nice to be here. Unfortunately, I didn't play the weekend at the Scottish Open, so I've been here a little bit earlier, and yeah, I've really enjoyed Carnoustie so far, so I'm looking forward to the tournament rounds.
Okay, great. And just a note to the media that have joined us online, if you would like to ask a question, please indicate this by raising your virtual hand and then we'll come to you. Hannah, have you had a practice round out at Carnoustie yet? And what are your thoughts on the course?
Yeah, I played 18 holes. Well, I haven't played 18 in a row, but I have played the front nine and the back nine. I'm playing the Pro-Am shortly, so I'll be able to see them all again. But it's a really cool golf course, probably one that I'm really excited to actually play a tournament round in. So it's got some like short little holes, some long holes, some pretty narrow holes, and also some tough bunkers. So you've got to be patient again this week, just like last. And yeah, I'm really excited.
That's great. Now, first question is from Tony Weebeck, please.
Hey, Hannah. How you
doing? Good, thanks.
You talked at the start of the year about adding length, I guess, with you in the off season, and this is a golf course that demands quite a lot of that part of the game. Can you give us a bit of an indication of the distance changes you've seen so far in your game and how important that's going to be this week?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps when it comes to venues that are windy. You know, I feel like this golf in particular is really good for us because there's a lot of bunkers that you kind of have to take on, and some of them I can carry as compared to other girls, and some of them might have to go, you know, elect a 3-wood or a 5-wood off the tee to stay short of them. So I feel like, yeah, links golf, it definitely helps, especially when you're trying to hit lots of knockdown shots. I feel like coming from Australia, we're pretty good with playing in the wind. So I don't know what the forecast looks like. I think it's actually pretty calm. So I kind of do hope it puffs up a little bit more to have some sort of advantage. But yeah, it always helps when you have a shorter club into a hole. Your proximity with your stats should say that you hit it closer. So I think that's why the rest of my game has improved on that too.
How much further are you sort of carrying your driver this year compared to perhaps the last year or two?
Probably 10 to 15 meters. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, it's one less club that I'm having into the green. So it definitely has made a difference. And even when I returned to the tour in March, played golf courses that we've played, you know, the last few years, it was very weird taking different lines, and I almost struggled a little bit committing to shots because I wasn't used to taking that type of line. So I feel like brand new golf courses are actually better for me. I can go in there with a fresh mindset. So I'm hoping that will be the same this week.
And finally, how firm and fast is the course at this stage of the week? And is the expectation that it'll be firm by week's end?
Yeah, the fairways are firm. I feel like compared to last week, we have to worry about a lot of runouts. Like I said before, the bunkers are really well placed, and the tee boxes they've chosen has really put them all in play in pretty much every hole. So it just depends, you know, how you're feeling off the tee, whether you want to be aggressive or not. But I feel like the greens aren't too bad at the moment. There's quite a lot of grass on them and they're rolling really nice. So I guess it just depends which way the wind direction. I feel like if it's into, it's always going to stop a bit quicker, but downwind, you definitely have to land it short of the green or maybe just on the front to get it close.
Awesome. Have a great week.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Steph at Channel 10, please.
Hey, you jetted straight into Scotland from Tokyo. How was the transition from the Olympics and straight into the next challenge?
It was hard, I'm not going to lie. Going from, you know, 40+ degree heat to then coming to Scotland where it's about, you know, 17, 18 degrees was quite a shock. But I think just, you know, being on a high from coming from the Olympics was quite hard to come down from. But I really do enjoy Scotland, and I enjoy this test of golf. So unfortunately, I didn't have my best last week, but I feel like I'm a little bit more fresh than perhaps some of the girls that played on the weekend. And hopefully I can use that to my advantage this week and yeah, play really well.
And Kirsten Radley as well is qualified to compete in the professional field, and an incredible achievement for another fellow West Aussie.
Yeah, absolutely. she was really nervous about the qualifier, but there was a decent amount of spots and she's been playing really well. She's obviously come off a couple of wins over here in the UK. So I had dinner with her last night and she was asking me so many questions. She was just so excited to get here. So we're going to play a practice round together tomorrow, and she's got all of her caddy and everything organized. So I'm glad that she's made it, and yeah, she's very keen to play.
Any words of advice for her?
I mean, she's been playing really well, and there's no reason why she can't do it again this week. I think she's kind of a little bit starstruck. She's already told me that she's seen a couple of players that she watches on TV, and one day she'll be one of those girls and there'll be someone looking up to her. So I think she just needs to keep doing what she's doing, and don't get too caught up in it, and yeah, just play well.
Great. Our next question is from Russell Gould, please.
G'day, Hannah. Well done at the Olympics. It was really great to see you go so well. Just a question on, you made the big call to leave the US and have the big break at home before the Olympics. I'm just wondering if you felt your performance there in Tokyo was a benefit of going home and Tokyo out last week, but if that going home will also work this week and going forward for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the road till November, so that was the only time that I could see me going back to Australia. Unfortunately, I did miss the Evian Championship, which was a definite bummer, and obviously great that Minji won there. But I feel like even though I might not have great results come the end of the year, at least mentally I'll be really happy, and I won't be wishing that I had gone home and regret that I didn't. I've always struggled with being away from Australia, and COVID obviously hasn't helped with that. Last year I was on the road for 5 months. I just did 3 months a few weeks ago, and I'll be on the road again for another few months. So I feel like we are kind of lucky because every week does go pretty quickly, but I feel like sometimes it does go slow, and I think I just needed the mental recharge more than the physical. I mean, it was great to see my coach and have Richie there with me in Tokyo, but I think it was more a mental choice rather than a physical choice.
And just on the whole Olympic experience, I mean, you mentioned having watched Minji win at the Evian, to be there and play with her and to be with the guys as well. I mean, did you feel that sort of, you talk about the mental refresh, the benefit of being with all those Aussies for such a significant amount of time, and what it might actually mean when you start playing again on your own?
Yeah, it was really fun. We were fortunate enough that the guys actually stayed on Sunday night and we all arrived Sunday. So we got to have dinner with them, and there was, I think, 14 of us in a room having dinner, all Australians and 1 Kiwi. But it was, yeah, really cool. And I think we all needed that, kind of banter for the guys playing the WGC, and for us, continuing and playing in Tokyo. It was a lot of fun. I don't think I've laughed that hard in a long time. So I think we all enjoyed ourselves and enjoyed each other's company.
And just a final one on that, would you, looking to Paris potentially, would you like maybe a teams event to really make the Olympics a point of difference for golf?
Yeah, I think it would be great. I think it would be hard because, we obviously have to find a couple of weeks to get it into our schedule. But I feel like even if worst case scenario, they made it, 2 scores counting towards the day, like for instance, Minji and myself score. I know that, Leash didn't have the best week that he wanted in Tokyo, but, he was kind of just playing for the sake of playing, but Cam did really well. So I think it would have been great if, both of them were thinking about each other's scores, and yeah, there was some sort of team event.
Good on you. Thanks. Go well, Hannah.
Thank you.
And we have some more questions now from Tony Wiebeck, please.
Again. Talk about Kirsten. Have you had much to do with her? Yes. And what's it like for you to be in that position now when you're the one passing on? I know you're still probably tapping Curry for a bit of help every now and again, but you're now in that position. How comfortable are you with that, and how have you helped Kirsten over the years? Yeah,
we've known each other for a long time. We both play at the same club at Mount Worley back in WA. So we often try and play and practice together when I'm back home. And yes, we always message each other when I'm away or whether she's away. So we've kept in good contact, even if we're not in Australia. So she was telling me, that she was heading to the UK and playing events, and she's obviously done really well to have 2 wins, but she told me she was doing the qualifier, and I know she's got a really tough mental game. So I kind of knew that she was going to make it. Even yesterday, she posted 1 under and she was tied third and she was still nervous and not sure if she could say that she was in. So yeah, she's a great kid, comes from a great family. So I'm really excited that she's made it. And I really hope that she can contend here on the weekend as well.
What did you have for dinner last night?
I had a chicken burger and she had a steak burger. So it wasn't the healthiest of meals, but we were celebrating.
Did you shatter at least?
Unfortunately, no. We both charged it to our rooms, but it won't be the last dinner we have this week. I feel like she's missing home a little bit too, so it's probably nice for her to have a familiar face to hang out with.
Just finally, Carnoustie, the 18th hole's got its own sort of history. What's it like? Was that the first time you'd played that hole in practice yesterday or in the last couple of days? And how did you play it?
So the wind direction actually makes the hole play downwind. So it is a very different hole. I played it on Sunday and hit a 3-wood off the tee and even got it past all the bunkers on the right. So I had a wedge into a front pin, but I imagine if the wind's into, it's going to be a bit more intimidating. But it's a lot more narrow off the tee than you think it is until you actually get there yourself and see it. So I'm not sure. I've heard that the wind direction is actually going to be different in the tournament rounds compared to the practice rounds. So that doesn't really help all that much, but I have heard that it's also going to be not too windy anyway. So yeah, it's a tough hole and it's a great finishing stretch. I'd also say 17 is just as hard as 18 and also 16. So there's a lot of tough holes coming in. So I feel like whoever's leading come Sunday probably wants quite a big lead prior to playing those last few.
Do you soak up the history when you're out there for the first time? And I know you've got family connections to Scotland, but does that golf history kind of seep into you as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like we're so lucky to be playing Carnoustie. I feel like, watching it on the TV and watching the men play here, and obviously it's been 10 years since the women last played here. I think we're just so fortunate to be able to play. And even when I drove in, I was kind of just smiling the entire way and even on the golf course. So I feel like at least that's one positive. Perhaps if you don't have a great hole, you just look at the bigger picture and be like, I'm playing Carnoustie. This is pretty damn cool.
Great. We have a question. We have a question now from Blakey, who looks like he might be repping his Aussie Olympic gear there.
I was wondering if you may have some relatives watching you this week actually at the course, because I think I read today they were allowing some crowd there. Will you have any relatives there at all?
Yeah, I do. I'm not sure who's all coming, but I know my mum's cousin has asked for 5 tickets. So I'm pretty sure they're all going to be family members that are coming. So I feel like I won't be able to give them, a hug and everything, but at least I'll have them out there. And I'm excited to see them from behind the rope.
All right. Well, I think that, just in time, Russell Gould, one more from you.
Yep, sorry, Hannah. Just on, you mentioned again, going back to watching Minji. I mean, how significant is it for obviously 2 girls from Perth, same coach, and what that means for sort of going forward as well, because you're both young as well for the women's game in Australia, and how significant was it for you to watch Minji win?
I think I was actually more nervous watching her than I was when I was like winning KPMG. I think it was about midnight when she won Perth time, and I think she'd had probably 7 or 8 holes to go. And I told my boyfriend, I was like, oh, I reckon she's going to win. And so I couldn't even go to sleep. I was just watching the whole entire time, and she played so well and putted so well. So it was even inspiring to me as a fellow player. So I can't imagine what the juniors back in Australia are feeling. There's no reason why they can't do it. And hopefully we do get some more Australians out on tour, and we all keep succeeding.
And have you obviously you would have spoken to her about it at the Olympics. Is she still on a bit of a high as well?
I think so. I mean, it's hard not to be, it's the event that she wanted the most. I feel like a lot of people thought she would be the first person to win a major after Webby. So it's definitely, I guess, like not a burden, but, an ease off her shoulders. So she's playing with a lot of confidence right now. And we both didn't have a great week last week, but I'm sure we'll fire up and go well this week.
No worries. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, Hannah, I think that has wrapped it up. And I just want to say a very big thank you for generously giving us your time today. And we wish you the best of luck here at Carnoustie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.